Persona 1 is better than you think. I'm currently on a quest to become a real Persona fan, and to me, that means playing literally every game the series has to offer, no matter how underwhelming they may be. So without further ado, here was everything I liked about Persona 1. The characters in Persona 1 are pretty cool. They all have unique personality traits which make them pretty fun companions for the journey. To give a few examples, Ayase is comedically shallow, Brown is incredibly cocky, and Ellie is an occult freak. Now I think they are a bit too light on the character development for my taste, but for Atlus's first time attempting anything like this, they did an alright job. Something that die-hard Persona 1 fans don't hesitate to shove down your throat is the game's soundtrack, and they definitely aren't wrong. Of course, you've all heard the iconic School Days, but the new boss theme, Bloody Destiny, is one of my favourite songs in the game. I'm looking forward to the day this soundtrack makes it to streaming services, but for the love of God, please put it in English this time. The Persona 1 dungeons are decent. Going into this playthrough, it was definitely the part of the game I was enjoying the most, but I ended up having a pretty good time with them. None of them are really anything complex, with the game only ever asking you to flip the odd switch or solve a rotation puzzle. Since I'm not really a fan of those super cryptic and complicated dungeons, I really appreciated this game's more simple approach to it. The PS1 version's racial changes are pretty funny. They changed all of the characters' ethnicities to that you'd seen in American high school, and I'd say that most characters made the transition pretty well. However, I can't bring up this topic without mentioning Mark, because Atlus infamously went a step further and decided to give him black skin, definitely one of the less subtle changes that Revelations decided to make. But if you ask me, Mark turned out a hell of a lot better than the protagonist did. White Boy Naoya, or Edward as he's now called, is fucking hideous. His new hair is dog shit, and that facial expression makes him look stoned out of his mind. As bad as this idea was, part of me now does really want to see how funny the other protagonists would look if they got the same treatment. Something unique about this game is you have two full-length campaigns in one. You have the traditional Sebek route, where you try to stop Kandori's world-ending schemes, or you have the hidden Snow Queen quest, in which you free the school from the effects of a curse made by a decade-long grudge. This is the first and only time Atlus have offered a hidden campaign in a Persona game, so it's pretty cool to see. You actually get the choice on who your fifth party member will be. Your options consist of Ayase, Ellie, Brown, and Rigi. I personally got Ayase on my Sebek playthrough, but if I ever touch this game again, I'll definitely go for everyone's favourite cult freak, Ellie. The Persona Awakenings in the PS1 version are super underrated. The long summoning animation and the incredible music makes the whole process feel so damn powerful. Just take a look. It's still very far from my favourite in the series, but I actually think it's better than both Persona 3 Portable and Reload's Awakening scenes. The lore behind the nickname Brown is kind of funny. I was thinking maybe it's because of the colour of his hair, but no, it's because he canonically shit himself in the middle of school. That is a piece of trivia I was not expecting to come across whilst doing research for this video. I had such a good time in the Elia Cavern dungeon. Since it was just Maki and Naoya, my average party level was so high that I could just use smelling salts and disable all random encounters. Playing through Persona 1 dungeons without getting interrupted every 5 seconds for another battle is therapeutic. Also in Elia Cavern, you can find a Naoya that's just sitting alone in his room playing video games. The fact that they have him sat alone playing video games is such a simple yet effective idea. I mean, think about it. The Persona protagonists are all supposed to be self-inserts for you, the player. So when you see your own shadow holed up in a room playing video games, it hits really close to home, but not even in a bad way. The UI in the PS1 version is so damn cool. It's got this science, grid, aesthetic thing going on. It gives me this feeling of nostalgia for late 90s to early 2000s science shows, which is weird considering I've literally never watched one of those in my life. Much like the Final Fantasy series, each character in Persona 1 has their own unique song associated with them. Do yourself a favor and listen to Ellie and Ayase's themes. Trust me, you will not regret it. It's a damn shame they're only on the PS1 version, as I would have loved to hear these during my playthrough. I found it kind of funny when Kandori just up and dies after his boss fight. I was expecting that after his defeat, the party will tell him where it went wrong, and then he'd go to prison or lead a normal life, but no. He just gives a tiny little speech and lays dead on the floor. The game even lets you examine his corpse. The scene after Maki kisses Naoya on the cheek was pretty funny to look at. I think the writers were expecting me to cry while I was watching this, but I just started laughing. And it's all because of this corny pose he hits right after. Who the hell stands like that? And there was everything I liked about Persona 1. This video did end up being noticeably shorter than the one I did for Vengeance, but I'm not going to pretend like I didn't see it coming. The Sebek route only took me 20 hours to beat, so I was really struggling to find new things to talk about in this video. But if you haven't checked out Persona 1 yet, I definitely recommend you try it. It might actually be the most accessible Persona game. PSP emulation on PC has been a thing for years now, and you do not need good specs at all to do it. And if you don't have access to a computer, then you're still not out of luck. PSP emulation has hit the iOS App Store. The emulator comes with touch controls, which will work fine considering that you don't really need any precise movements in this game. But if that's not really your thing, you can always just connect your controller through Bluetooth. There's literally no excuse for not playing Persona 1. Now, the next logical step for uploads on this channel is the Persona 2 duology, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'm really excited to start those games, as I've heard that the presentation, writing, and gameplay is a huge step up from Persona 1's. But until then, be sure to like and subscribe as it helps me out immensely. Thanks for watching.